what? I pay absolutely zero attention to how big a studio is or how big a show is. I'm so profoundly grateful to get to do what I do. I love what I do. I don't even know how much I get paid sometimes. But I know. You know what? Don't tell the studios I work for this, but I don't keep track at all. Honestly, I don't even keep track of who pays me. Like, I'll do something 3 weeks ago. Did they pay me? I don't know. And then I'll get a check and I'm like, woo! What's this for? I'm not kidding. I love what I do. I am so profoundly grateful to get to do what I do. And so I don't pay much attention to that kind of stuff. I met the Ruby guys, what's it, Rooster Teeth, right? I met the Rooster Teeth guys in Australia. They were there at a convention I was at. And we started chatting. Had a great time, hit it off. And they said, hey, you want to do something in Ruby? I'm like, sure. What's Ruby? And we got back to the States and they sent me an email and said, you want me to play this character, Uncle Crow? I'm like, awesome. So while I can't just, do everybody's, I do get lots of, emails from fans that have done something like they're making a fan thing and they want to do. I can't do that. I mean, I do have to, I've got bills to pay and I've got responsibilities and I have to prioritize. Star Trek takes like 80% of my life because I'm not just playing Captain Kirk, like I run the show. I mean, I started it and I run it. So every decision goes through me. Stories, editing, production, casting, makeup, wardrobe, sets, lighting, bills to pay, leases on set, studios, all of that stuff. I find myself having to deal with all of it. So I don't have a lot of free time, but I love what I do. So there's really no thought of, wait, I don't think this project is big enough for me. Your studio is not prestigious enough. Yes?
Is there any special schools or special things you have to do before you become a voice actor?
No. I wouldn't say a special school or schools or education or college courses, but I would say this. For those of you interested in voice acting, here's the 2 things that almost any voice actor will tell you are the keys to getting into voice acting. Number 1, acting. The key word in voice acting is acting. I know that makes like, duh, Vic, right? But I say that because a lot of people think that it's about making funny voices or being able to imitate somebody that you've heard on television. I can sound just like Krusty the Clown from Simpsons. That's awesome that somebody's already playing that role. You see what I'm saying? Or I can imitate Yoda, or I can sound just like so-and-so from such and such. And that's really great. That's cool. But the thing about, but most voice actors that I know that work a lot, that you know by name, that have done a lot, have one major thing in common. They have a huge background in acting, in theater, in stage performance, or on-camera performance. Many of them have studied it for years, taken classes, gotten in place. So the first thing I would say to you if you're interested in voice acting is get into acting. Audition for school productions, audition for community theater, audition for church productions, anything that you can develop your skills as an actor, because that's the most important thing. The second thing is you need to be where that kind of work is done. That's the harsh reality. I mean, you could be the greatest voice actor who ever lived, and if you live in Iowa, chances are you're not going to get many opportunities. That's just the reality of it. So the 2 things, acting experience and being in a location where opportunities are available are the most important things. Yes, sir?
What is the best bomb or prank someone's left you in the booth?
Oh, there's so many. I'll tell you 2. One is from many, 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 many played this character named, ironically, Mamoru, like he's a Dominican actor. But this was long before. So I play this character, and he's this, he's part of this alien race. And I walked in one day, and the director said, "Okay, today we find out is the day we find out that Mamoru is an alien. He's been disguised as a normal guy all these for the last 45 episodes or whatever, but now today he's going to reveal that he's actually an alien from another world." So I get into the booth, and they bring up the first scene, and here he is in this weird kind of a gown thing. He's wearing like his alien uniform, and the director said, "Okay, you ready for your first line?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm getting ready to record it. Of course, anybody else that's already recorded, you can hear them in your headphones on playback. So as I was getting ready to record my first line, I hear Lucy Christian say, "My God, Vic Mignogna looks great in a dress." That was one of the first bombs I remember, and that's at least 12 or 13 years ago. The second one is from Full Metal Brotherhood. Oh. Now, you've heard this already, I apologize, but it's one of my favorites, so, when somebody asks you the question, that's the one that comes to your mind. As you know, Aaron Disney, who played Alphonse in the original series, grew up. It didn't sound like a 12-year-old boy anymore. When we did Full Metal Alchemist, the first series, there was no brotherhood. So when they cast him, they thought it was a brilliant move, because here's a 12-year-old boy playing a 12-year-old boy, right? And how perfect is that? And they didn't imagine that it would be some kind of a Bart Simpson thing, where you need to sound that way for 20 years. So we did the first series, and we did the movie. And when we did the OVAs for the first Full Metal, Aaron was just starting to change. He was pushing it. And so when it came time to, when suddenly we found out they were making another series, he didn't sound like Aaron anymore. He didn't sound like Alphonse. I mean, he went from brother to brother. So they had to find somebody else to play a role. And they were not going to make the same mistake again. Don't cast a kid anymore. Cast a girl, which is what they did in the original Japanese, right? And then now we're both played by adult women, because then they could sound like that forever. I mean, you don't have to worry about their voice change. So they cast a girl named Maxie Whitehead. Woo! Maxie is awesome, and I adore her. So I hadn't met her yet. We just started recording Brotherhood, and she had already been in to record, and I hadn't come in yet to start recording Ed. When I finally got in, she was gone. I mean, she was already recorded the first 3 or 4 episodes. She wasn't there. So I hadn't met her, and I was so excited to hear what she sounded like, right? I mean, I got Al in my, in my head, I know Alphonse's voice. Aaron and I were very tight, very close. And I love him to this day. But I was very excited to see who they chose to play that role. So I started hearing her playback, and I'm like, wow, she sounds great. This is great. And within like 10 minutes, we were in this episode where Ed and Al are leaving Winry's house. They're walking away, like let's say you're the audience watching, and they're walking away, and Winry goes, "Don't forget to come back for dinner. Auntie Pinaco's making stew." And Al turns around and goes, "Yay, stew!"